Okay, welcome everybody. Appreciate you taking some time this afternoon if you're on the East Coast or maybe still morning time out on the West Coast. We wanted to take a few minutes today and kind of go through what we've learned over the last 10 months. We've became partners in the Intelisys scan source world uh, roughly 10, 11 months ago. We have quite a bit of experience under our belt at this point, dealing with a lot of different partners across the country, bringing us some different opportunities to take a look at for our various product sets. Some are very unique. Some are maybe using it in ways we never would have envisioned. I'll be happy to walk you through all that. But also wanted to cover some changes that have taken place here based off some of those learnings. For example, we've adjusted some of our pricing. We have rolled out a white label program. 2 weeks ago, we published our API. So maybe some opportunities there to leverage existing platforms or applications that your clients might have that just need messaging embedded. And I'll walk you through that a little bit. And then coming along with that, we've taken a closer look at some of our marketing collateral, some of our videos that we've created, creating some various case studies to not only support our white label partners, but also just our resale partners. So they can identify some real possibilities from a sales standpoint and utilize some of the materials we've created specific for those verticals. And then at the end of the presentation, I was going to walk through some recent wins that we'll acknowledge some recent wins by some of our partners, kind of do a quick pseudo case study of each one of them to show you what's resonating out there with end users and kind of why people are buying today. And please, if you hear any issues with my audio or any issues with the slide, please just send me a chat and I'll try to adjust accordingly. Well, my name is Mark Herring. I overlook business development here at Message Pro. I've been involved with the company since day one. The majority of us here come from a prior company, so we've all been together for 20 plus years. Probably in the last couple of years, we've really started to change our focus to messaging. In a prior life, we've done hosted VoIP. We've done various vertical applications to bolt on the hosted VoIP platforms. We've done SIP trunking. We've provided last mile in some cases and some bandwidth connectivity. But we feel as if the marketplace is really shifting more to sort of a virtual not only messaging, but also voice and telecom-oriented products are become much more mobile and less desk-bound. So Message Pro was born. We went out and found some great, unique strategic partnerships to work with. Our partnership so far with the Intelisys ScanSource community has been excellent. We love working with the groups that we've come into contact so far. We really like working with corporate. We feel as if there's sort of a top-down initiative to try to help promote and market our services, and everybody's kind of in this to help each other. So it's been a nice experience so far. We do have a wide range of clients. If you're not familiar with who we are, we do have some very high-level Fortune 50 clients that do some messaging applications. The biggest one we like to brag about is Humana. We do some outbound communications to recently discharged patients from the hospital for chronic care disease management. But we also keep them in the loop by providing back real-time data information based off patient feedback through surveys and questions. And then at any point when something needs to be escalated, we can route that to a care manager at Humana. But if you go all the way down the chain, Humana at the top, for the most part, we go all the way down to the solo entrepreneur as well. So we typically have a very strong focus on the small, medium business market. And again, I'll show you here in a little bit some of the verticals where we're seeing a lot of success. But really any type of business out there that's dealing with a consumer on a routine basis, maybe they're communicating with customers and vendors, and maybe they're handling logistics. There's a lot of different applications from a Message Pro standpoint that they can utilize to help their business, no matter what the size. Again, we do have a strong aptitude in the medical world, but through this Message Pro channel, we've learned quite a bit about all the types of different industries and verticals that are appealing to messaging today. So This gives you a great idea of all the various things that we can support. Some are here today, some are coming very soon. But this is kind of how we view the world going forward. You have obviously voice capabilities, but we fold in messaging both internal and external. It could be secure messaging from a medical HIPAA compliance standpoint. For a while, we've done appointment reminders and things that kind of fold underneath that umbrella that helps anybody that has to confirm or reject appointments or reschedule. We have some pretty interesting things we can offer clients there. And then as this thing starts to sort of unfold, we're going to have more interactive messaging capabilities with bots. We do have cloud secure fax, and we've done some emergency notification work for quite a few clients. Probably the largest to date is Catholic Diocese that's in our backyard here in Tampa, Florida. Today, I'm going to focus mostly on Office, which is the SMS, MMS piece of this equation. You know, it's obvious why people are moving to messaging and away from voicemail and phone calls and emails. People just aren't answering calls today. They're not replying to voicemails. They're not replying to emails. But what's interesting is when somebody sends a text message, it's almost like a automatic response that you have to get out very quickly. So as you can see here, we've learned that 95% of text messages can be read and answered within 15 minutes. So businesses are finding new ways to communicate with clients and get real communications going. So what's new? Office has been out there now for 10 to 12 months. We have several thousand clients across all verticals. And the way we have positioned this in the past is that we have had a retail price point which started with bundles. What we learned, though, is that a lot of clients don't have an idea of how many messages they might use per month. So we rethought the pricing plan a little bit, and we came up with a new approach, which we basically charge by the number, the user, and the message that's sent and received. And I'll show you that here in a second. If you're not familiar with Message Pro Office, there's a screenshot here, but I do encourage you, if you haven't already, to maybe sign up for one of our accounts. We give any of our channel partners a free account to use both internally for their own business, but also as a demo account to show off to prospective clients. And what we do with Office is we text enable business phone numbers, local 800 numbers, VoIP, or landline based phone numbers. And then you can start to send and receive text from an interface. The options you have from a user interface, which is shown here on this slide, is through a browser. We do prefer Chrome, but we also have an Android and an Apple app out there that can either supplement or sit independently and operate by itself. We have some clients that like to utilize all options. So maybe internally they utilize the browser to communicate. When they leave the office, they can start to use the app. But we also have some clients that do it 100% from the application side and just do it from their smartphone. It's easy enough to do either way. But the great value proposition here has always been that we do not need to put any equipment in. We do not have to do anything to their existing services. So nothing changes on the voice side. We do not port numbers. We simply flip a switch and we text enable the number. Once that's in place, you can start sending and receiving just like you would off your smartphone through the portal you see here. So we started to get a lot of requests about the possibility of white labeling this, and we ended up rolling out a white label program 2 weeks ago. And I'll give you my contact information at the end. If anybody wants to walk through this in more depth and learn more about the white label option, I'm happy to do so. So kind of recap a little bit, we do have a reseller channel avenue where if you want to just stay that route, that's great. We support you 100% with collateral. We have an inside sales team here that would work with you from kind of qualifying the client all the way to close if you want. And in that situation, we pay a revenue share. But if you want to go the white label route, this is what I'm going to walk through here for the next several slides. We've tried to think through the process to make it pretty simple and straightforward. At the end of the day, what do we need to get you started? We need your logo to put into the product itself, and all the various email notifications and fulfillment packages that go out. We'll take care of all the branding for you. We'll get it all switched out. And then where do you want us to send a billing file? So we can support one of two things from a billing standpoint. If you are a master agent level that has some subs that would like to potentially white label as well, we can work with you to make sure both entities can have their billing files accurate and up to date and on time. Or if you just want to keep it at the one level as a master, we can certainly accommodate that too. So just need a logo and an email address, and that essentially gets you going. At this point in time, we're not charging any type of setup fee. We are also not requiring any kind of a minimum. So it's a great time to get involved. There's really no downside to exploring the white label option if you think that's best for your business. I'm hearing, I got a message here saying I have garbled voice and echo. Hopefully everybody heard what I just went through. Going on to the next, okay, great. Thank you guys for feedback on hearing it fine. So going on to the next slide here, what we've tried to do is also provide you a catalog of materials that could help you with being successful at selling this product. So we have created email templates, and I'll give you an example here in a second to show you what that's like, that you could turn around and send out to your base to make them aware of the new product that you're rolling out. We have some product sheets. That's going to expand also to include a variety of case studies. So we tried to identify all the top industries and verticals that we've been working with up to now, and actually calling the end user and talking to them and creating a nice case study that you could go and pick and choose. I think that's probably going to be completed here in the next 2 weeks. And then we also have a nice video. We would charge just our cost of $250 to rebrand it for you. And that would replace all the Message Pro logo and verbiage with your particular brand and logo. So again, it's just our cost we're passing through to you to get that change. And so far, we've had about everybody take us up on that offer. So I know a lot of the questions related to provisioning, and I have this deck that I can send to anybody that wants to dive into the details. This gives you an idea of all the information we need from a provisioning standpoint to get a customer up and going. And we do have a portal available to where that would actually take place. This is an example of the email template that we have created for you that you can recreate and send out anytime on your own. And obviously we can work with you to tweak this or change this. We're always available to kind of brainstorm and come up with a great way to approach your end users. We have done 4 or 5 different iterations of this with different partners, depending on how they want to go to their base. Just tell us what you're looking for, and we're happy to kind of work with you to make it acceptable to you. This is an example of the PDF. We have, again, some case studies coming out that would have the very same look and feel. But anywhere you would see the Message Pro Office brand, again, we would remove and slide your brand in. I can send out a link to the video that we recently created. It's one of the animated how-to videos that you see out there quite a bit. And again, for $250, we can go in and change the Message Pro branding out. What I'll do is any participant that attends today, I'll send you this deck that will have a link included to where you can actually go out and view the video. Or if you want to do a quick YouTube search, you can find us out there under Message Pro. So the pricing, I saw somebody ask that in the chat here a few minutes ago. So here is the new pricing that we have rolled out recently that's gotten a lot of good feedback. It's very simple, $4.95 a number, $3.95 a user, 2 cents a message. That's the retail pricing structure. If you are a standard reseller that just gets the revenue share, that's the price point we would go to the end user with on a proposal. If you wanted to go the white label route, what we do is go 50-50 on this. It's right down the middle. And so a lot of times you may come across some high volume opportunities or some one-offs. You know, for example, right now we're doing some proposals for some clients that do anywhere from 800,000 to 2 million messages per month. And we're getting creative on how we can meet and beat competitive pricing in that situation. So just come to us. If you have something that's sort of outside of this, the scale here, just let us know and we'll put together a customized quote for you. Couple other sales resources that you might find useful either as a reseller or a white label partner is I have a new battle card that I can publish. I have that on a slide here in a second. We've also expanded our website, so we have more solution pages. So you can kind of dial down by vertical, by industry, see how it's helping those types of businesses. And we've also updated all of our user manuals and administrative manuals. So if you wanted to become very familiar with the ins and outs of the product as a white label partner in particular, you may have to do some troubleshooting and some customer care. It's a great resource to utilize. I know this is difficult to see, but I will circulate it to everyone. We have totally revamped our battle card. I think you'll find it a little more useful than where we were previously. We tried to probably put a little too much into the last one. And as we learn as we go here, we just try to improve upon it. Again, I'll put this in your hands today. It's also in the Intelisys portal as well. So if you want to go out there and take a look at, I think our rebrandable PDF and some of those other items you'll find in the Intelisys portal as well. The other message to get across today is our availability of our new API. A couple screenshots here that show you how we would be able to, how you as a white label or an API customer would be able to kind of manage your clients, put numbers on, put messages in. We have a web portal design for that. You have, let's talk about API for a second, because we've really started to get a lot of new opportunities that could take advantage of this. We have, call center applications, people that have already created their own platform or their own application where they don't need our user interface and they just want raw SMS, MMS. For a very inexpensive price, we can work to get that implemented into your platform. So if somebody's running something out there today, maybe give us a look and see if there's something we can do to either replace what they're using or provide something they don't have today. If you go to our website, there's a section out there dedicated to the developers. I'll put the link in here. That gives you a lot more information on the API. There's actually some code that's published out there if you want to take a look. And this is a work in progress. I think by next week, you'll probably see it look a little bit different as we add more capabilities. So bear with us a little bit. But if anyone, again, has an API opportunity that's near term, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll fill you in on the ins and outs on how we want to go about doing that. So lastly, I thought I might take a few minutes to go through some of our recent wins and some of the different business types that have found us, to be quite honest with you, or have gone to you as a partner and requested this kind of capability. I mentioned Humana a few minutes ago, but we've also done a lot of work with a company called Great Call. They have a senior phone called Jitterbug. We've done some of our applications embedded there. The insurance industry continues to be very strong for us. Primerica is just one of several. Primerica is sort of a direct marketing concept for life insurance, and they utilize a lot of messaging. But then we also have your standalone insurance agents, your Allstate agents, your State Farm agents, Farmers Insurance. Those are all existing clients that we have. They're leveraging their local number that they have out there in the community, whether it's on the side of a bus or a billboard or on a brochure. So now everybody can call or text in. And then some of the auto reply capabilities they find very useful. So they can streamline requests for quotes. If there's paperwork they need to get from an MMS standpoint, we can provide an auto reply with a link or maybe a document. The medical practice angle, we already had quite a large base, but we continue to add in that situation. We have appointment reminder capabilities, but then also the one-off conversations, lab work is available. Your eyeglass prescription is available. Here's some paperwork I need you to fill out prior to coming in today. They're using it in an array of ways just to try to get more, cooperation from the patient. As you know, a lot of these patient portals are not having a high success rate of people utilizing them. So they're finding that messaging seems to kind of cut through the clutter a little bit and help to streamline some of those processes for a medical practice. I've stuck in here some of these large hospital systems. I see a question down here for secure messaging. Secure messaging is part of this as well. That's sort of a totally different thing than what we're talking about today. But just very quickly, our secure messaging app is an app-to-app approach as opposed to utilizing native SMS inboxes. Secure messaging is an easy price play at $6 per user per month. You can find that on our website as well. And I can send some information out of that as well. But what we're seeing with some of the large hospital systems that we've been working with is sort of a catalog of different products. They use Office in some cases. They're using our API in some cases. We have put together a program with an existing service that is already out paging and messaging clients, but we put our API in them for them to use our SMS capabilities. So you see a lot of different use cases within the hospital system using maybe 2 or 3 of our products as opposed to just one. Real estate. This is a very big one for us. Actually working on a deal right now that would work with Keller Williams, where we would text enable hundreds of DIDs. They're putting a new VoIP phone system in. They do not have SMS capabilities native to the system, so we layer in on top. But if you think about it from a real estate perspective, you're now having the prospective client call or text to your local number. If they have a keyword set up, you can put all your listings out there to give complete auto replies back based off whatever property they want information on. You can do maps. You can send information on directions on how to get to the property. We're seeing real estates use that quite a bit. The big surprise to us has been the contractors, not so much the HVAC companies, but the contractors. Interesting the ways we see them using it, not only logistically, getting field personnel to a house or to a business, making sure they know where they're going. They date and time stamp through pictures, arrival and departure. So they're showing that they're doing the work through MMS and sending the pictures back to corporate. And then also they're not having to roll trucks out as often to go give bids for different. So for example, here in Florida, we have a lot of pools and screens blow out consistently. So that we're seeing screen companies say, hey, snap a picture, send it in. We'll take a look, give a quote to you. That way we don't have to roll the truck out there to go give you an estimate. Same with roofing companies. So it's been interesting the way they've adopted messaging to go well beyond just straight communications. Schools. We have a pilot going with the Sarasota area. We try to drive teachers away from using their own personal smartphones to communicate with parents and students. The nice thing about our Office product is we do capture all the information that's being sent and received, and we save it. So there's no way to delete it. And there's a quick search option. So at any time something is voiced as far as a criticism or maybe something inappropriate, it's an easy way to go and do a quick search and pull up the information you might need from a school standpoint. Also, I don't know about where you guys are, but my kids tend to have a lockdown drill every week right now. It's a big thing here in Florida right now as far as keeping our schools safe. And we've been talking with some folks about how we can integrate messaging into, those types of exercises to keep parents in the loop and also everyone else on campus. Law firms is something that came from a few relationships that we have already out there where they have been consultants into the legal realm. But the biggest push we've seen there is the personal injury firms text enabling their 800 numbers. So we have quite a few around town here with billboards. So now you call or text into the 800 number, and then they can queue it up and send it off to the appropriate people internally. But then they're also using keywords in a creative way too. Maybe if they're doing a specific case that they want someone to write in for, maybe it's a class action lawsuit. There's things they can do from a quick auto reply capability to give people the information on how to get involved. And then finally, call centers. We have about a dozen opportunities right now out there in the call center world. Some call centers may already have the SMS, MMS capability involved, but in the instances where maybe they're on a legacy system or external SMS is not an option, we have been going in and text enabling all those DIDs. So it's just a supplement for a call center beyond voice to add messaging in as well. I covered a little bit of this, but I created this slide just to get across the point that a lot of times people ask us, okay, who are you focusing on? Like, what's your real focus from a vertical or a specific type of business that we're looking for? But every organization we feel needs this. If they're out there talking on a routine basis, you have to have this. So this is a snapshot of everybody that's in our existing client base that maybe you'll see a certain segment that resonates with you, and maybe you have a Rolodex that contains a few of these types of businesses. But I mean, retail's an obvious one. We have a lot of flower shops as clients. We also have dry cleaners, people that have to get messaging out to let people know things are available or on their way. Credit unions. We have a lot of credit unions as clients. They're doing beyond just traditional conversations. They're also using it from a collection standpoint. I didn't get into that a whole lot with the call center example, but we see that there too, where maybe a payment is due and they're sending out a message with a link straight to the online payment process portal, so they can do some additional work to try to collect funds that may be due. We touched on the construction and the law firms a little bit. Restaurants kind of fits in with some of the other verticals that may have some SMS, MMS solutions included. There's a few POS systems out there for restaurants that also include SMS. So we're out there hunting for the ones that don't have it. So quite a few of those have come our way. Staffing, recruiting companies, event management, and then a lot of government. We're talking with a few political organizations right now to try to work with various candidates that might have an upcoming election. In fact, I received one yesterday from the 800 number of the Democratic National Party. So they're already out there using 800 numbers to communicate with their constituents and their voters. So it kind of goes across the board. It's probably easier to say which ones don't have appeal for Message Pro. And to be honest with you, we haven't found a whole lot of those yet. And we think with the new pricing structure, it's a low barrier of entry for a lot of these, especially a retail store, something that may not have a big budget. They can get started for $10 a month and just pay for the messages that they send and receive. So in some cases, we're billing some clients as low as $10, $15 a month. But what we typically see is month over month growth. Every time they adopt messaging for their business, other departments within the company start to see how it's being utilized. They think about how they could use it for their own means. And we're seeing, sort of growth doubling month over month with every one of our clients, which is great news for all of us because, it's more revenue for Message Pro and more residual or revenue share for our partners. The other thing I'm seeing a lot through the channels is a conversation starter. So maybe you don't have, maybe it's not time to replace that voice over IP system yet, but you want to make sure that the client understands you're there and you can provide those kind of services. We see a lot of partners kind of get their foot in the door with Message Pro and thinking down the road of how they can gather more business from them. All right, I'll take a few minutes. I see a few questions here in the chat. I see one, examples of how staffing companies use Message Pro is a great question. So we see it in an array of ways. From a recruiting standpoint, the recruiters are seeing that they get a quicker response back from applicants. It's very time sensitive. You have a company that's hiring for a position. You have a candidate that's applying to the position. The recruiter's in the middle. It's very time sensitive that recruiter could reach that applicant and make sure that they're doing all they can to apply for that job. So they're finding that messaging really cuts through the clutter. It's effective in providing links. So a lot of times they'll send a link out directly to the form that you may need to go and apply for. And then we're also seeing it being used in a smaller fashion. Like, for example, we have Panera restaurants here. They basically added caller text to a specific local number to find out about available jobs. They're always hiring, always hiring. And so they found that their uh, adoption of messaging has allowed them to double the amount of eligible applicants that they're trying to hire for their various stores. Hopefully that answered your question. If not, I can take you offline. I got another question here. How do you address cost objection from customers using business cell phones with unlimited messaging for their client messaging? That's a great question, Andrew. The reality is I'm probably not the best fit for that type of client. So if you're a solo real estate agent and you're running everything through your smartphone, and you're comfortable with publishing your own personal smartphone and using it on a routine basis, then stay with what you got. I'm probably not what you're looking for. But in the situations where they do want to remove themselves from using their personal cell phone, or they want to leverage their brand a little more, you think about anybody locally, that local phone number is very important to the retailer or to the real estate agent. And so to try to expand your brand and get your number and your name out there, they tend to go that direction too. The other aspect too is a little more of the automation piece. So if you could set up your keyword and time of day auto replies in a creative and smart way, you could probably save yourself some time. We also have a feature called canned comments. Not sure if you've looked at that or not. That's another feature that would probably be more attractive than using your cell phone for your business, in that you can have a library of canned responses. So if you find yourself answering the same question over and over again, or sending out the same information over and over again, you can go and create this library in 2 clicks of the mouse. You get it fired off to the client. So that's kind of the way I would look at that. Trying to overcome that objection. Getting asked if integration with email 365 is on the roadmap. I didn't get into integrations too much. I had it in here originally and I moved it out just because it can kind of get complex and your spider webs take you off everywhere. But we're very competent when it comes to integrations. So obviously somebody could come to us and grab our API and go build an integration. But we also have our own staff of developers here who have created integrations with various legal practice management software systems. We've done medical practice management software systems. We're very familiar with Salesforce, Dynamics, and Sugar with the CRM. We have our own marketing automation internally with like the Sharp Springs and the HubSpots. Those are all roadmap to have integrations along with Zapier. So eventually I think we can check the box by this time next year of any type of meaningful integration that you'd be looking for. Frank's asking me if we offer international numbers. We currently are only domestic, but I've had some conversations with folks about some international possibilities. If there's really no reason why we can't. We just really haven't gone that direction yet because all of the interest so far has been domestic. So Frank, if you have any specific opportunities you want us to look at, just reach out to me and I'll let you know. In the past, we have done some things overseas that we could leverage to be able to broaden ourselves outside of the U.S. I'll give you guys just a few more minutes if you have any other questions you want to throw in the chat. Meanwhile, that's my contact information. If you ever want to get a hold of me, I'll send this out. You can go into my Calendly link and just go ahead and schedule a time with me if you want. Beyond what we've covered here, I love to do the one-on-ones. I like to get to know more about your business and what you're doing and how we can fit in. I can be reachable at any time. So if there's no other questions, that's the presentation for today. I appreciate your time. And please let me know if I can be of any assistance going forward. Somebody got one question here right before I shut off here. What is a good starting point conversation with a business that still is using POTS landlines for their business? I think those are prime candidates for this product. I think, depending on the vertical, And depending on kind of who their clients are and what they're using communications for in general, we kind of get in the middle and figure that out. But I think that's ripe for the picking. That's some low-hanging fruit. Anybody that's out there that doesn't have messaging on a legacy phone system or just old POTS lines, what I always encourage people to do is set up an account. It's going to be $10 a month to try it and see if a message comes in. What we typically see is when a business enables Message Pro, messages start coming in, and the business owner is wondering why that is. And the fact is they've been trying to message them this whole time. That's usually a pretty good sales technique to try to convert them to paid if they're using a free trial or if they're going with a low-end product plan. Well, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate your time. I'll be in touch with each of you. In the meantime, get a hold of me if it can be of any assistance. Have a great day.